Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Time Will Tell. The Drake Bell podcast, where we deep dive into the multi-tracks of the It's Only Time album. And I'm Jordan, and I'm here, as you can see, with the wonderful man that is Kai Dansberg.
That was wrong. It's detuned.
That's all right. That's okay. How are you, Kai?
People should know that we record these episodes really early. Like early in the day, and we are tired, but we just we do it for the Drake fans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's currently 9:30 in my
it's
my time.
1 hour later in Germany.
Yeah, so it's quite early, but I'm eager to get going, and it should be good fun. So today's episode is "Do What You Want," the third track from It's Only Time.
Yes.
Which I'm kind of excited for. This was actually one of my favourite songs off the album for a long time. I mean, it kind of still is, but every week my favourites change. But yeah, for a long time, this was the go-to song that I really enjoyed playing.
Yeah. I always loved this song. I always thought it's also pretty popular among the fan community, I think. And this is, I mean, we already know that a lot of these ideas for this record were brought by CJ, I wanted to say, CJ. And I think "Do What You Want" is one of these songs that probably was close to finished before Drake worked on it, because by the way, yesterday I checked out the Kevin Dunn interview again to see if there's anything we should mention. And I think CJ mentions there that "Do What You Want" was one of these songs Drake backed him to, let's make a few changes and put it on the record.
A bit like Up Periscope.
Yeah, Up Periscope and "Fool the World." And
which is really funny because they're ironically some of my favorites.
Same. But I mean, we know the versions of "Do What You Want" and "Fool the World" from CJ because they were played on the radio on Kevin Dunn's show 12 years ago or something.
Yeah, maybe more.
There is a few different things in his version and in Drake's version. I think Drake's version overall was a little shorter. Near the last chorus, I think they had it shorter because I think the chorus was kind of twice as long in the version.
Wait, for which song?
"Do What You Want," in the version.
Oh, really? I didn't realize. Okay.
Yeah, you need to compare that. I think right before the break, the a cappella break thing that happens before the last chorus. I think right there the CJ version is longer.
Wow. Okay.
But it was a good choice to make it shorter because it wasn't kind of too long. It was kind of too long.
Yeah.
And I think CJ's version, besides that part, is basically the same thing. Just the mixing is different. And I feel like I don't know exactly, but it could be that version of CJ's from "Do What You Want" probably is on one of the Zoe 101 episodes, because we probably will show snippets in the "Fool the World" episode, because there is a version of "Fool the World" in one of the Zoe 101 episodes, which sounds totally different from what we know. It's
That's interesting.
Maybe
I wasn't
demo.
aware.
Yeah, I will dig that out for the "Fool the World" episode, because it's not loud. You have people talking over it and it's really in the background, but there is a "Fool the World" version, which was different. Maybe it's the first version or something.
Interesting. Is there also one for "Makes Me Happy"?
Yeah, that was sung by Mike. I think
Yes.
but I think that's in Zoe 101 as well.
Yeah.
That basically sounds the same as the Drake version, but the Fool the World thing, that's different. I think
It's a different mix, isn't it?
different mix,
Definitely,
but
at least.
also I think it's like a whole before they maybe recorded real drums and stuff. And
Okay.
but yeah, I mean we're gonna talk about Fool the World in the Fool the
Yeah.
World episode, but I think these songs kind of fit together for me because these were like the only CJ versions we know, and they were played both in the Kevin Dunn interview.
With CJ's vocals, of course,
Yeah.
as the lead.
Yeah, and yeah, I think "Do What You Want" had one TV performance.
I seem to remember that. Was it a Nickelodeon thing?
Yeah, it was. I think,
But it was a playback thing as well,
it was,
partly.
I think it was the lead vocals were live, but
Yes.
the rest was playback. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was the Kids' Choice. Kids'
Oh, it
Choice
could be. It looked like an
Awards,
award thing.
but
Yeah.
it wasn't on the actual award show. It was like the pre-show that was aired on Nickelodeon. Like there was
Right.
some kind of countdown show, I think, and
Okay.
that's where Drake played "Do What You Want." And
I'm sure I remember him in a big white suit,
yeah,
I think.
that's
looking
that's,
quite dapper.
huh?
Looking quite dapper.
Yeah, totally. I think that was totally like Beatles Beatles influence. But I think it was in 2007, if I'm not wrong.
Wow, yeah. It's a long time ago now.
Yeah, and so it could be 2006, but I believe because the It's Only Time record was released in December, I believe it was 2007 because I don't think there was like he was like having TV performances so fast in December. I
Yeah.
mean, not all of them.
And also
so-
probably not before the album's released as well. So it is
Yeah.
very likely going to be 2007.
I mean, he did play like songs on his own concerts. Like I said, I think there's like versions of "Fallen for You" from 2005 already.
Yeah.
But that was his concerts, and he still, I think today still sometimes play songs that aren't released yet.
Yes, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Another thing to mention with this that I find interesting from a guitar perspective is the fact that when we have seen these songs played live through video, or
Yeah.
even, the Mexico concert DVD, for example, from a guitar perspective, when Mike plays, he's of course using his guitar in standard tuning as the rest of the songs require. So how he plays it live is very different to how it is on the recording, which is tuned down. So
I didn't know that, by the way.
Okay.
I had no clue they tuned down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's in E flat tuning, so it's 1 fret lower.
Mm-hmm.
A bit like Found a Way. I don't think
Yeah.
I ever mentioned it in the actual episode,
we
but
didn't.
those guitars.
We didn't, but that was also like 1 lower, right? It was tuned
Yes.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't mention that, I think.
But yeah, so that is kind of the first thing that I find interesting whenever I watch, snippets of those old performances, and I kind of, fanboy over what Mike's doing. It's totally different. Well, not totally, but it's very different to what the album's doing because, he can't reach that low physically.
Yeah. I mean, maybe like they could have like switched guitars for that song, like having like one guitar that's tuned down, but maybe Mike preferred to play this one guitar the whole show.
Yeah, at least it never happened that I saw.
Yeah, and also Drake only switched the guitar when he had the last song where he could like smash his guitar at the end.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was the only reason he switched. I don't think it was like also some tuned down thing. So yeah, but yeah, I mean we don't need to talk so much today because there is not so much to say about. I mean, we could like talk about lyrics and stuff, but I think it's more interesting to look into the stamps because we
Absolutely.
probably will have a lot to talk about that.
Yeah, it's quite a beefy song. There's a lot happening. I think it seems quite obvious from listening to it that it's a very heavily layered thing, especially the vocals and the background vocals.
Yeah.
There's a huge amount of things happening. plus all the sound effects. You know, there's toilet flushing and whistles and birds, and you know, there's all sorts. Plus orchestration, drums, and everything. It would be quicker to probably list what isn't there than what is.
Yeah, true.
So I feel like, should we just dive in? Should we
let's
get stuck in straight away?
Let's do it.
A couple of credits again. The crediting for this particular song is produced by Mike and CJ, according to that, which makes sense to what you said.
Yeah, but I think also like the credits on It's Only Time, they aren't really like, you can't rely on that.
Which is ironic.
I mean, I think it's just because they wanted to share the credits between them.
Yes.
But like when it says guitar Drake and Mike, probably it's only Mike. So we don't know.
Well, having
that.
said that, you know, this
it also
song
can be only Drake, because they just like say like we all did this.
True.
Yeah.
But for this song, like the previous episode with I Know, I think it was I Know which had the crediting only for Mike as producer, I think. And then this song has the only crediting for guitars as Mike, no Drake.
Yeah, okay. So maybe
it could be true.
Maybe that's then only Drake, only Mike.
Yeah. But hey, who knows?
Yeah.
So the drums are played by Joey Finger, who does the drums on everything other than It's Only Time and Break Me Down. And was it I Know as well, I think. But otherwise Joey Finger is on everything for this album. And starting off with, as we always do, the drums, speaking of, we have the kick that has, just so you can hear it, a little bit of a bit of EQ, but very much a clean sound. Quite a kind of fat, thumpy sound, actually. Which we then have a couple of replacements. Now, the replacements have a Pro Tools comment on them that says, "Up to you if you want to use these."
Yeah.
So,
and
it was obviously optional. And they were, yeah.
Yeah.
And together, just creates a little bit more thickness in that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A bit more of the beta sound.
Yeah.
We also then have the intro sticks as well, which the intro sticks, they also have a comment that says, "Wasn't sure if we had enough of the stick sound." So hence they, I guess, re-recorded this to stick over the top. So that's your verse one kind of sound through that.
Yeah.
And then when that is combined with the hi-hat and the kick, I'll add the overheads in the room in too. Kind of a cool little sort of vibe going on there.
Yeah.
And we also have the snare, of course, that hasn't entered yet until around the pre-chorus or the chorus. So we have the snare totally clean here. A lot of bleed, as you can naturally hear. But they also do have some samples, and there's actually quite a number of them. To be honest, we've got 3 here. So these are the sample sounds.
Oh.
So
the found away
gated. Yeah, I think it
sample.
is. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's that PJ Rock snare.
Yeah.
And those together with the actual snare, again, it's still that one you hear mostly.
Wow, I can't believe that, actually.
And compared with everything there, just so you hear it in context.
All right, it makes sense now. Because you have a lot of from the snare on the overheads.
Yes.
Yeah.
Plus, I think Actually, saying that, there isn't any reverb on the snares in this instance. Sometimes there are, which therefore I should say the reverb's on the authentic snare, and therefore that cuts through a little bit more. But I think you're right. I think it is really the overheads in the room that you are hearing that natural snare.
Yeah. The overheads already sound really, really big.
Yeah,
Like the room
absolutely.
and the overhead.
Which is also an interesting thing. It must be how it was recorded, but this is the only one that had the overheads, if I remember correctly, the only one that had the overheads as a stereo track rather than two separate mono tracks. So they were all, they were merged into one.
Yeah.
Same with the room mics as well.
Yeah.
So
That's
maybe
weird.
it was an early way that they did it.
Yeah.
Compared to as the album progressed. A couple of things. So you can hear the toms as well, particularly from the bridge part into the build of the final chorus. And then the cutout, and then
Yeah. So cool.
there you go.
Did Joey Finger, did he also play Fallen for You?
Yes, he will have done.
It's interesting because he has really like his own play style. Like if you look at his fill-ins whenever he does something with the toms, it has a certain style, which was also, I mean, he didn't play the live tour in 2008, but the drummer back then, I think his name was Jamie something.
Yes,
And he really like did these fill-ins like Joey Finger did them on the record. Like you need to when we are at the Fallen for You episode, you need to pay attention to that because I always liked the way he plays his fill-ins. He doesn't do like these normal things. He kind of switches between snare drum and the toms back and forth a lot of times, and that's what I like because
as a style.
That's a style. Not everyone does that, but it has like. I mean, I haven't heard this on other records besides Drake's, so I like that a lot.
I mean, we'll get to it when we get to the Fallen for You episode, but I'm sure everyone probably has guessed by now because those three songs as the medley, Fallen for You, Break Me Down, Rusted Silhouette, have essentially a continuation throughout. They're like one song.
Yeah, and by the way, we're going to do separate episodes for that.
Yeah.
Because we want to do it like the album, but also we cannot do like a 4 hours, 5 hours episode.
That's true.
We already have to deal with the Fool the World episode that will be long, I think.
Yeah. It'd be ironic though, wouldn't it? It'd be the shortest episode yet. But yeah, so those three songs are together in the same project, and they were of course just bounced separately as the final final master.
I'm a little afraid. I hope this project will be like not have a lot latency problems when we record the episode because it's like a huge project. Like I saw it, I already checked it out, and it's like I don't know how many tracks, but it's like over 150 or something.
Yeah,
maybe even 200. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we'll find ways around it. But what I was getting at is with the fact that it was two drummers on this, what is effectively a one-track massive recording. It was comped between them both.
That's
so
interesting.
I guess for whatever reason, assuming Joey Finger did the drums for Fallen for You throughout, which he will have done because there is the recordings for that, they maybe decided it wasn't maybe the right style and therefore got what was his name, Joe
Traverse.
Joe Traverse in or Travers, So yeah, interesting. Not a
Yeah.
typical thing, I guess, that you don't really hear a mix of two drummers. So
I mean,
there you go.
maybe they just didn't record this at the same time. Like, maybe it was maybe Joey Finger was not available, and but I think what is interesting, and I mean, we will talk about this, but I just want to say this. I think the drums on "Fallen for You" on the whole suit. How will you say
Sweet.
it? Sweet suit is something different. I think the drum sound really stays the same. So probably they had the drums set up the same way. Maybe they didn't touch it. Maybe also maybe they recorded like the one day they recorded "Fallen for You" and then they had no time and they recorded like the next day and Joey had no time. Something like that maybe had
Yeah,
happened.
who knows?
Because the drums they sound like the same from the sound.
It's a very good point. Might say when we get to it, might say in some of the Pro Tools comments. To be honest,
Oh, okay.
we'll find out.
Cool.
But yeah, then we get into the percussion side, which is again just tambourine, and we have a crediting for percussion as Mike. So this is very likely going to be probably a legitimate tambourine. And also looking at the waveforms, they're not uniform, so it
Yeah.
very likely could be. I would guess.
Yeah.
So that very likely could, in fact, be Mike. So I feel like I'll skip through the tambourine. There's not much
that's
that I
not-
need
yeah.
to show you. That
It will just repeat.
it will.
Yeah.
Then we have the bass, which, just like before, so little processing that we can at least see. Very similar in sound to the clean DI track that we have. But I will play it from here where it gets a little bit more interesting for you. Yeah.
It's really
quite a...
really
Sorry, go on.
like it's really like boomy, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. It's different because on the other songs it wasn't that. It had this like low end. It sounds
Maybe
like
because it's detuned.
it's detuned.
I mean, it will be to get to the low E flat.
Oh, you think they tuned the bass down, or they tuned like they recorded it like with a pitch plugin?
I would assume that either it's a 5-string bass or it's just tuned down.
Okay.
Would be my guess.
Yeah. I mean, it lacks. There would be like a lack of quality if you like pitch down a bass.
True.
Or any recording. If I mean, there's pretty good plugins today, but back then I think the pitch down thing was like a little bit more complicated because
Yeah.
it really you hear like the quality. I
That's
don't know if
true.
Melodyne was available back then. Because
Probably not,
Melodyne is
but I don't know.
one of the best programs to do that, but I don't know.
I know that they use the Antares Auto-Tune throughout. I don't know if specifically for this song, but I have seen it on the other projects. So, yeah. This is just the clean sound of the bass. Just see if you can work out if it has been tuned after the fact. Can't tell.
I don't think I think it was like tuned like that, and then
yeah, that would be
because
my guess.
it sounds like the quality sounds too good to be like
Yeah.
a pitch down thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to see if there are any other kind of interesting parts in terms of the bass line. Is there anything you can think of?
I don't think so. It stays the same mostly, right?
I think so. I'm just going to play through into the sort of bridgy part and just to see. And then we have the... I really like that part where it plays the, I think it's the third of the chord. There's like a harmony of the bass part.
Yeah.
And I think this is all the same note now.
Yeah, I think that's the part. By the way, the break there, you can hear that the bass didn't stop playing; it was cut off because usually in the original recording from CJ, the song was longer on that point. And
Oh, wait, for at the very end here.
no, at right before the break, you can hear the bass is like cut off instead of that
Yeah.
he was really doing that break.
Right.
Because the CJ version
Interesting.
goes on that point.
I don't know if I either haven't heard that or I haven't paid attention. Yeah, I'll have to check that.
I can check my phone really quick. I think I have it here.
Interesting.
Wait a second.
But you're right, you can really hear the sort of very hard cut. There's no sense of a natural reverb at all.
Yeah, and I'm impressed at how like raw the bass stuff on the record is and how they managed to mix that in a good way, because you don't hear all that sounds from the strings. You don't hear that in
Right.
the actual like mixes, and that would be something I would be pissed in my record, because I hate mixing bass. Where's the song?
It's also an interesting thing because I've not made attention to this, but a lot of the instruments, the guitars and the bass, anything that's DI, I mean, it could have gone through, like an ADAT machine or a, tape machine, which could have changed the transients and the overall sound a little bit.
Yeah.
But they almost always put in an SSL channel EQ plugin on, which has the analog switched on. And so that will also affect the color and the sound of it.
Definitely.
So whether that, plays a part into what you're saying as well, I'm not sure.
All
I
right.
think there's something to be said about the actual performance and the choice of the notes and the pitches of those notes, which interplay with the rest of the track. It's a lot of that too.
Yeah. Okay, I have it. Let's check. So you can hear it right here. Usually the part in Drake's version is like live where you wanna live if
Yeah.
you wanna be free. And here you can really good hear that that if you wanna be free, that part is on a different, like they had it somewhere else.
Oh.
So it's not after that. Let me check if there's even the.
So it's only
even
like a few bars, isn't it, that's taken out there?
I don't know if they even had the break in CJ's version. Let me check. So
Interesting.
The chorus comes like once again after the break, and Drake, like in Drake's version, they cut away the last one.
Right. Yeah.
So
Interesting.
That's,
I never noticed that.
Yeah, it took me a few years, to be honest. I think I noticed once when I tried to. There was a time I tried to combine like a version of CJ and Mike to see if I can filter out, like that was before we had the stems. So I was trying if I can phase invert stuff
Right.
to remove things and
But I guess
and-
just different mixes.
different mixes, and I figured out the like the time code. The time code is like longer on CJ's version,
Yeah.
and then the last chorus happened, and everything was like not in sync anymore. So
Got you.
yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, no, that's, I didn't know that. That's quite fascinating. And to push forward with this, we have the piano, which again played by Mike, according to the credits. And just so you can hear this is, of course, really the driving instrument, I suppose, for this song, especially when it gets to the bridge. You know what I'm going to do, actually? I'm just going to turn off the automation
okay.
just to hear it properly. It's just great.
Yeah, it has.
There's such a full sound in that chorus.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, the way he plays the verses is really interesting because he has really like a good feel. Like it's a little, sometimes a little shuffle, you know, like little behind the rhythm, like just a little bit, which has like
also-
a groovy feeling. Like
Yeah, and there's also there's parts, as you can just tell, but I guess if you don't analyze it, you never really think about this. But some of the sort of more jazzy chords, the transitional chords,
Yeah.
come in not on the beat, which I guess is also
Yeah.
what you're saying. It's like
Yeah.
slightly pushed ahead and so on.
Yeah.
It sounds great. The other thing I really like that I never really paid attention to in the piano until I heard this was, again, this isn't a piano, but the leading into the sort of pre-chorus part where it's going from the E into the to the A. You hear this this bass that's going into the G sharp in this case. I mean, really, it's a G because everything's tuned down. But talking in the case of this, and then you just hear that kind of, which is just really nice as well. And I never really truly noticed.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah, I love that most of the pianos on that record have these like jazzy things in it, which you
Yeah.
which you don't well, like which you notice a lot when you listen to only the piano track. And
Yes.
yeah, it's interesting. I would
This,
love to be able to play it like that on the piano.
Yeah. It's clearly heavily blues influenced. That's the feeling of it.
Yeah, Mike.
Which, I mean, it's Mike
was
as a player, isn't it?
Yeah, he was the blues guy. He I think he even played in a blues band for years before
Makes sense.
before he worked with Drake. I just forgot the name of the blues band, but it's really like a really known blues band in like, I mean, not in the country, but like locally very known. I
Yeah.
think. but I
Wow.
forgot the name.
There was also a video, I was going to say not long ago, but it will have been now, where Mike did guitar for a blues band at Buster's Long Beach.
That's that's the band. He was the
Oh,
guitar.
is this the band that you're referring to? Ah,
And
okay.
that was like a not a reunion, but it was like an anniversary show, I think, where he
Right.
just had like a guest guitar solo stuff
Got
thing happening.
Yeah.
And he was
great.
I don't know if he was like in the first like I don't know if he founded that band,
Right, okay.
but he
Yeah.
was really early, I think, the guitar player. And
That's
I
really
guess
cool.
I guess he had to like cancel to be in that band because of his work on like television and stuff. He probably had no time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's interesting that he managed to tour with Drake like years before he also like didn't tour with Drake, but like
Yeah.
I think until 2010, I think in 2010 he had his last show with Drake, I think.
Wow.
And like it's interesting that he managed to like score the hell out of every show on Nickelodeon and then like being on tour with Drake.
It's true. I mean, you could appreciate the hours that he's put into the craft. I mean,
Yeah.
oh God, that is going to be the majority of his life.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, crazy amount. Yeah, the other thing with that Buster's Long Beach video, there are two that I know of. There are two versions of it with two different camera angles as well, which is kind of cool. One that has a longer footage that's further away, and one that's a lot closer but shorter. Yeah, it's great though. No, I never get tired of watching him play
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah, he's like really like a guitar like hero. Like
Yeah.
when he plays a solo, like
You stop
I
and
don't know
listen.
why he's not a huge star. I don't know.
I mean, I guess in his own right he is, but I know what you mean. Then we get to, in the piano, this sort of bridgy part, which I'll play again. And then I will play you something that is underneath, which is this piano phase. And it's not very obvious in the song until you hear it. So allow me to play that for you. So good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was mostly the part I wanted to show you. Also, you can kind of hear where the performances were stitched. Like you can hear from that da 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 da, into just nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a cut. Yeah.
Yeah. You can even hear that a little bit in the song Telegraph as well. There are a few moments where you can just hear there's no natural reverb and it's hard cut. But hey, these things happen. So that bridge part, the little doop 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 doop, is so nice. And at that point, they emphasize that by adding in, it's really a second piano part, but ever so slightly off center. So it kind of phases it a little bit. And just so you can hear that in the context, back in the volume it was, I'll do it with the automation on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes it sound like a retro old school detuned piano kind of like
Yeah,
like
little honky tonk.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't notice that in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, it's not obvious, but it adds a little something to it.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a lot of instruments at that point, as we'll find with horns or whatever. And I will just play you to the end as well, just so we can appreciate it in all its glory.
All right.
And did you notice that little
Yeah.
slow down effect? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
It is really cool. Yeah. So obviously this piano was edited after the fact, and
Yeah.
you know, we don't actually have the clean, but yeah, love it. So good.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have More Keys by Mike, which is the organ. There's actually two organs, one and a church organ that is right at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Not really a whole lot to say here. It's just kind of supporting the piano. Just a little build to the chorus.
Yeah.
I believe it does it again. Yeah. And then we have a little bit in way with the chorus, which I'll play with the piano so you can hear that in the context. I'll just ever so slightly change the volume of the organ so you hear it a little clearer. It's just really cool. You can hear a lot of the low parts as well through that kind of little whooshes
Yeah.
throughout, which is really cool. Let me just isolate some of that because I enjoy it. Yeah. Yeah, it's just sort of like kind of random.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you
Rhythmically,
can
it
do
sounds
that
great.
if you like, if you don't hit the wrong notes when you do that with like in the middle of recording. And Mike was a good piano player, so he could do that. I'm trying to do that separately, like when I have recorded my organ already, and then I add these sometimes.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
yeah,
I get
but
you.
I can't
Yeah.
do it in this like at the same time.
It's more
I
authentic.
would hit all the
isn't it?
wrong notes after I did the whoosh, you know.
Right. Oh, I see. Yeah, I get you. I wonder actually. I've never paid attention if the organ has a slowdown at the end. I don't think it does. Let me see. No, just glissando down.
Yeah.
And then we have after that a church organ, which is kind of interesting. And this is a very heavy, kind of distorted sounding kind of thing. Right at the end.
It's the epic ending.
Yeah, you don't expect to hear that.
No,
Like I almost don't
it's
even recognize
buried
it in there.
Like it's like buried in the mix. Like you
It
can't hear
definitely is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when I first heard that, I was like, wow, okay. But possibly, like we said before, if that wasn't there, it might not have felt as full. So,
Yeah.
you know, it all has its place, I guess. Then we get to guitars, which I believe all of these are tuned down. It makes sense for them to be. We have a left and a right acoustic, but they are essentially doing the same kind of thing. But some of the, you know, in this case, you'll see the left guitar acoustic isn't actually playing for some of the song.
Yeah.
So I will play both of those together for you just so you can hear that. And then it continues.
Yeah.
And in case anyone's interested, I believe the way that is being played is just by like little barcodes, really, higher up. So you have this. I'm going to reference them as how it feels to play them on the guitar rather than what the actual sound is. It's just going to be easier. So an E, but really it's E flat. So E to an F, A minor, and E. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Occasionally, I think throughout this, I also hear the F as being an F7.
Oh, yeah.
Occasionally, too. So you hear this kind of... kind of sound.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty certain that's how that is being played.
I think so, yeah. Sounds same.
Yeah, at least it sounds like it if it's not. And then if I get to, because we have basically the same kind of thing again, I'll get to, again, the sort of bridge part, and we'll see if anything pops out as there. And more of the same.
Yeah.
And then the end. There you go. Which I would have guessed that
Pretty
maybe
much
this was
muted at the
Drake.
end.
Yeah. It's the like little triad things. It again, to me, it sounds like it's essentially.
Yeah.
I think it's that. Which what I was just about to say was, it doesn't seem like it from the credits, but I mean, who knows? This to me sounds like how Drake would play it live on his guitar, whether acoustic or electric. Again, during the live recordings, his guitar is also standard. That we've seen, at least everything that I've seen, and I've seen a lot. So it's not to say it's not ever happened, but so that means any times in this recording where the E chord is right down here, which does happen a little bit like in Found a Way, he would be playing it as a bar. That's kind of the major difference, really. But yeah, the other thing that's kind of nice about this, and again, for whatever reason, I never mentioned this in Found a Way. I guess we were finding our feet a little bit with this podcast.
It's kind of the same chords, right?
Yeah, very similar. And I once had an idea to try and merge the two. It just kind of never.
We actually should like make a big remix, like making like a 20 minutes track, merging all the songs of It's Only Time together, like trying to do that, right? And then finding maybe finding ways to change the key within.
Oh, I see.
Or we like, if it's like most of the time, I noticed when I made the intro music for this podcast, I noticed that songs are mostly away like one half step from like another song. So I just pitched down, I think, I don't know which song, but I pitched down some song to fit onto the It's Only Time song. So that's also an option, but I wanted to do that for a long time, to merge all these songs into one big remix, having the instruments together, like the Beatles' Love album. I actually talked to Drake about this a lot of times, like since years, and I think he likes the idea as well, but it's just like so much work.
I get that.
But that would be something he should do officially, like he should put out like a love record, merging all of his songs together. Like,
It's true.
because there's many songs on the Lost album we could merge with It's Only Time as well. Like,
Very true.
there's so much we could do just to have like a fun listening experience through
Yes.
the last 20 years.
Yeah,
Okay, sorry
absolutely.
for interrupting.
No, that's good. Yeah, because like this song's E flat. It's Only Time as a song is E. Fallen for You is F. You know, they're all in the same sort of area.
Yeah.
It's very true. But yeah, the thing that I was thinking about with this song, just like Found a Way, was that you hear a lot of the thinnest string left open,
Yeah, I noticed that
which
too.
is really nice.
Yeah, I was about to say that, but I thought it's obvious, so I didn't mention. But I heard like through the whole track we heard, you always hear that one string ringing.
Yeah,
So-
and it sounds great. So like
Yeah.
you've got this E, which has the natural thinnest string.
Yeah.
It's like a drone that happens. At least I reference it as droning strings when I teach. But
Mm-hmm.
then to this, I'm calling it an F sharp, but having the thin string open gives you an F sharp 7, the same as that.
Yeah,
To then the A, which has it anyway, and the A minor, which
yeah.
has it too.
It's
so you
like-
end up with that.
It's like
Sorry,
the,
go.
it's like the magic note in that song that makes every chord sounding better. Like,
Yeah, it kind of glues them all, doesn't it?
yeah,
In a way, and you hear this sort of. I'll just demonstrate it, but
yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah, it's-
and
it's cool.
it just works. Same
It
with Found a
works.
Way, exactly the same chords.
yeah.
I think when we did the acoustic version a long time ago,
Yeah.
I remember trying to add that little thing I was talking about. That
Yeah.
in there too, and I realized that I could kind of get it from that grip,
Yeah.
but it's sort of hard to kind of hit that
Yeah.
and accent it. But yeah, good fun. Then we get to the electric guitars,
Mm-hmm.
of which there's only 3. Actually, it feels like there should be more from how big
Yeah.
it all sounds.
Yeah.
You have essentially, let me break these down. You've got a very clean third guitar,
Mm-hmm.
which it is amped, but it's just incredibly clean. But essentially playing what the first guitar is doing. So it's sort of a double, really,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just on
yeah.
the other side. So the distorted guitar is panned left, the
Oh,
clean
yeah,
guitar
that's-
is right.
Yeah, that's something I noticed when I looked into the stems. That the one side sounds way more heavy in the guitar than the other side on the
Yeah.
like the pan. Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe to keep space for
guess so.
other things, because this song has a lot of stuff happening.
But then there is a guitar 2 that is panned to the right, also very heavy, but not as often.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not heard as often as you can see. So I'll just play the combination of guitars for you, just so you can hear that as a thing. Chorus. Yeah.
Cool.
It is really really nice. I really like the guitar part over that. The choice of how it is played, particularly the pre-chorus, is super fun. Let me just speak about it really quick because I geek over this. I love it. So you've got this. Well, I'll play it to demonstrate it. Then I'll very 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 briefly explain it. It's something like. Sorry, helps if I do it right, doesn't it? Yeah. Ah. something like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a moment because I'm slightly not used to playing this tune down. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the wrong place in my head.
Yeah.
But it's lovely because you've got these sort of little triad shapes,
Yeah.
which is really just playing, the A chord to the minor, to then the E chord, to then the this would be a C sharp minor.
Yeah.
And
I don't
it's-
know.
to then the little F sharp 7 thing. So it's all the same chords, of course. It's just I just really like how it's kind of like a Hendrixy style thing. It just sounds great.
But I think you missed one
love it.
thing. Listen to that guitar on like solo, like the one guitar you just tried to like play. Like, can you play that in the stems?
Are you gonna say this? Look like the open finish string thing?
No, I think
Oh,
there's
okay.
one more little thing I can't describe. But let me listen to
Do you
it.
know which guitar?
I think it's this one, right? You have
Okay.
soloed right now.
So let me play it. Is it that bit?
Maybe yeah, I think so. Yeah. But I think you can hear it better in the amped guitar.
Let's have a listen.
That
That
note,
thing.
that thing.
Yeah. And so to me that sounds like it sounds like the finished string is being kind of caught open there.
Yeah.
And there might be some sort of hammer-on thing.
Yeah. Definitely.
But you're right. There's definitely something happening there.
I didn't notice that before we did the episode. That little thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think it's a great little movement. I think Mike will do it this way. Just everything, pitched down when he played it live. But yeah, it's just my favorite thing.
Yeah.
And then we have a little bit of the verse 2, where you have these two slightly differing amped guitar parts, which I also think is just really lovely. It's just so good.
It's cool.
Like they start off the same as you can hear,
Yeah.
and then they just go into their own separate things.
Yeah.
It's really nice. And also, I think an appreciation for a thing Mike does a lot, which is just the sliding down of the neck.
Yeah.
For nothing other than sort of, I guess, a bit of punctuation.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just sounds kind of fun with this.
Yeah.
That just, I love it. And then we have much more of the same kind of thing for the chorus too. But then we get into the bridge part, which once again has some interesting content. So allow me to play that for you. I'll go from around here. So this is all the guitars, but guitar 2 will cut out. And then here we go.
The blues.
Yeah. And I think these are all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, really heavy, and I love that. Particularly
Yeah.
that little blues thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Sounds great.
I think it's interesting because the style of the music is basically what the Beatles did, but they didn't like have the guitar amped so heavy. They just had them maybe crunchy, but not that heavy. And Mike and Drake's sound is more like rock mixed with that Beatles
Yeah.
pop sound.
It sounds good. Shall I just very quickly play a little bit of the piano plus that guitar at that point? Because I just think it sounds lovely. So this a bit of an appreciation post for Mike here.
Great.
I love that.
And also you will hear when we come to the horns, you can hear that the horns directly like communicate with the blues part Mike does, like the blues guitar.
It's so good. I'd love to know about the construction of this song and what came first.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, we have banjos, the MIDI banjos, which are littered throughout, but they all do the same thing. I'll just very quickly play them for you. Which is great. What context is that when that comes in? Is that just before the chorus, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the transition into the chorus.
Yes. Yeah. Which is copying what the piano's doing, really.
Yeah. The piano plays also these notes, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And that is just littered throughout, literally copy and paste. So I won't bother playing those.
No.
Then we have CJ's trumpets and horn section.
Yeah.
Which, again, if I play these first four, this will be over the second chorus, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of vibrato there.
Mm-hmm.
So the same performance there.
Yeah.
If I start adding in these other two, we have the stabs on "I can't believe" line.
Mm-hmm.
Which sounds great. Yeah. And then we have, which I'm assuming is what you were referring to with the bluesy bridge.
It is. The muted
great.
Horns.
Oh, it sounds so good. And then we have much the same as what we've just heard on the first four trumpets, but now with some harmonies on top.
Yeah. And that's what I love about the last chorus.
It's great, isn't it? Love it. It's very sort of triumphant.
Yeah.
Like I've climbed Everest.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like victory. And then the very final part, right at the very end.
Yeah, cool.
Which is great.
Can you play the blues part with that one part I mentioned, because I want to hear if I was right.
Of course, no, you
But
definitely are.
made
It's copying the.
It always made sense to me. Also in the mix, like these two parts. Maybe it wasn't intentional, but they fit together perfectly.
Yes, definitely. I think it is more closely copying Mike's thing, but guitar part.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's massively obvious though to hear those trumpets. I mean, it is, but I think it's so littered with so many things. It's you could focus on anything and be surprised by it.
Yeah.
You know,
But
it's
I mean,
great.
we got a lot of comments on our first episodes with people saying that, like, their stuff
Give
they
up your shit. Oh, yeah.
they couldn't hear before. Like, so it makes really sense to have these podcasts.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, otherwise, there's clearly a sort of a kind of a cult following for all of this, and there are people all over the world that appreciate these albums.
Yeah.
And it feels like a bit of a shame to not be able to expand upon that and have a deeper appreciation, because I certainly do now, having done these. Then we get to the vocals, the lead vocals. Same story as before, very little happening. EQ, compression, little bit of delay, but they are very clean. So I will play them for you.
Yeah.
And people around the world, they say I'm bitter, but I can say I'm not a quitter. And you can't. And people, no, they don't apologize. That's why we have to advertise in the paper.
And also now, everybody has a little clip of Drake laughing. So, you know, if you tell a knock-knock joke. So, you know, you got that. Then you have... this is also quite interesting. As a production point of view, the chorus vocals, or possibly the pre-chorus vocals, are differently processed to the rest of it.
Really?
Yeah, ever so slightly. The EQ's a little bit different, and so on the compression. But yeah, just treated a little bit differently, which is this part. I think this is the pre-chorus.
I can make you stop and listen, that won't save you. I can't believe everybody wants to party all night long until the birds are singing. So
Yeah. The other thing I really like about this vocal line, I'm sure you've noticed it, Kai, is the descending kind of hits on the strong beats, and it's chromatically moving down with the chords.
Yeah.
And I just think that's really lovely.
Yeah, it is.
It wasn't until I really listened to this that I actually appreciated that as a thing. Yeah,
It's going with the bass line, kind of. Everybody blah, da, da. Like, it's interesting.
exactly. Yeah,
It's cool.
Yeah, it's just a really nice thing. There's also this. I don't recall what this little stab is. Let's see.
but
Oh, so that's on a separate tape.
free, then you're gonna be free. But people,
Yeah.
don't you know it's not polite to point and stare? No, it's not the way to show you care about the way you live, but I bet you don't give a. And people, you've got to give it up where credit's due, but you only did it 'cause I told you to. Oh, too bad, so sad, I hope I didn't make you mad. I can't.
Yeah, so it makes sense why they had to record those separately, because they do, fit over the top of each other a little bit. There's also something quite interesting in this song where some of the sections have reverb, some don't. So I guess that is just for clarity in the mix.
Yeah, I think so.
Conscious choice.
I think what's more interesting is the double track of the vocals, because that's something no one knew.
That is so true. Just before we get there, we also have an amped vocal track as well. So it's essentially, I believe it's all the same takes, but comped to one track and then with an amp simulator on top of it.
Yeah. Probably it's slightly detuned, or it is little shifted from the timing.
Yeah, it's probably sample shifted, I would hazard a guess, because a lot of the other projects that we have, that is the case. And you can actually see how they do that. And it's often, 200 samples or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then you hear these kind of, we play it from here.
I can make you stop and listen. That won't save you. And I can't believe everybody wants to party all night long until
And then just to hear the very last bit here.
the birds are singing. So do what you wanna do. Oh, be what you wanna be.
And I should just say here, there is also a vocal effect that is, I think it was something like 5,000 samples delayed, which you'll hear here, which is this Vox Effects 2.
Yeah.
You can't really hear it in the song, to be honest with you, but
No, I never heard it in the song. I was like a few seconds ago. I thought probably some error happened in the
went
Lotus
wrong.
Filter.
I just thought I'd stop it and better let you know.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
You wanna live. If you wanna be free, then you're gonna be free. So say what you wanna say. Oh, and hear what you wanna hear. Live how you wanna live. If you wanna be free, you're gonna be free. If you want to be, got to be, have to be, let me be free.
There you go. Interesting that the word live is taken out for the harmony swell.
Well, we will see why.
We will. But you're right, there is a vocal dub, which is Mr. C.J. Abraham himself.
Yep.
So this is basically him singing the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this was initially from when it was his song.
I think so. I think they just
that would
used
make
that
sense.
as the double.
Yeah, it would make sense.
And it's not I can say it's not not the only time on that album that this happened.
Right, true. Which we'll see in a few episodes' time.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So just to hear a little bit of this, it's slightly panned, but that's okay.
I can make you stop and listen, that won't save. I can't believe everybody wants to party all night long until the birds are.
And then some of it is cut out.
Do what you wanna do. Be what you wanna.
I think
Live how you
Sorry,
want.
go.
I think they cut out the parts that CJ obviously sung differently in his version, because like the live where you no, what part was that? Do what you want to do, be what you want to be. He sings it different than Drake. Drake is faster, like goes faster down. Be I can't do it, but CJ is more like be, like he's more like slower. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't sound good to have them both together. So like but it's interesting they cut that away and didn't put any other double there.
Yeah.
just
Well, I
this-
guess because there's so many backing vocals.
I mean, no one noticed that. It's
I mean, you can't even really tell that it's in it anyway.
yeah.
Let
no,
alone that
you can
you know.
can play it together with Drake's.
Okay, I will. I'll do it with all the rest of the tracks, so you hear it as it would be.
Live how you wanna live. If you wanna be free, then you're gonna be free. But people,
So yeah, like
it
you
makes-
can barely tell.
Yeah, but to be honest, it's not a bad idea to do that, because it makes the lead vocals like thicker in the mix. Like it makes sense. I mean, you can double your own voice as well, but I think if someone else doubles your voice, it's like a different voice, and I think it will sound even bigger sometimes. Like,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's not the case. Like if I sing something and then my girlfriend doubles my vocal, wouldn't make sense, because probably she has to sing way too low for her vocal
Yeah.
range, so it wouldn't make it bigger. But like for male people, doubling male people. I think it works.
Yeah, it is a very clever sort of production idea.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think
I'll-
I don't think it's a production idea. I think it's more laziness, but because they had this already
becomes a
recorded.
production idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. No, I totally agree. Let me see if anything changes right towards the bridge part. Let's have a listen. I'll get rid of some of these effects.
The birds are singing. So do what you wanna do. Oh, be what you wanna be. Live how you wanna live. If you wanna be free, then you're gonna be free. So say what you wanna say. Oh, and hear what you wanna hear. Live how you wanna live.
And then we have the,
If you wanna be free, you're gonna be free. If you want to be, got to be, have to be, let me be free.
that's so gritty for CJ.
Yeah.
It's a very Mike-esque thing.
Want to be, got to be, have to be, let me be free.
Yeah.
There's also some distortion on that where it's clipping.
Yeah, but I don't think it's distortion. I think they just like it was just too loud for the mic. It wasn't leveled out
Yeah.
perfectly, but
But that is what distortion is, isn't it? It's just
it is, but it's a natural distortion. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I don't think it's bad. I actually like when that happens. If it's not like, I mean, this is like an okay distortion. Like there's distortion which doesn't sound good because it's completely distorting the whole signal of the microphone, which
Yeah.
you can't use. But this one is only like slightly at the high, at the loud notes,
yes,
which is cool.
Yeah, but yeah, you can definitely see how it would be hitting the red, as they say.
Yeah.
in those parts. But yeah,
Yeah.
sounds great. So that's the vocal double. Then we have the exciting bit, which is all the background vocals, which I
Yeah.
think this song is. It plays homage to those sort of Queen type, lush backing. Yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
And what I've done again is I've tried to show you where is CJ's, which is a dark color, and Mike's, which is a light color.
Yeah.
And the other thing that you'll find interesting as we get to some of, in this case, I've highlighted Mike's line has CJ at the end, but the opposite of CJ's line has Mike at the end. They're sort
Okay.
of swapped.
Yeah.
And that is throughout. And I don't know what the reason is. I guess it was maybe just that they thought as you're listening, their voices will swap over.
Yeah.
But it's so blended with everything else, you just can't tell anyway.
Yeah.
But so yeah, allow me to play for you these background vocals.
Okay.
And there are quite a number of them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to treat them as they are, how they've separated them out,
Okay.
because they've treated them in different ways. So I will play this as one section. We do have a little bit here. Sunday news.
Yeah.
And then the actual main vocals begin as so.
Do what you wanna do. Be what you wanna be. Live how you wanna live. If you wanna be free, yeah, you're gonna be free.
I love
like
it.
that. I like that. Wanna be free. That harmony there.
Yeah.
If you wanna be free, you hear that in the song really good. That's always a reason why I love the song, because it's like harmonies you don't expect first. Like wanna be free. It's not a like not a
third or a
melody you
fifth.
would think to be
Yeah.
there.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you end up with this kind of combination. I don't think there's anything else, no, that plays over the top of that. But it's so lovely.
Yeah.
And then you have 2 Mike and 2 CJ ones here.
Give up.
With Mike doing his O.
Yeah.
A little bit like in Fool the World
Yeah.
as well, which we will eventually get to. And then we have a bit of Mike.
I can make you stop and listen, that won't save you. Everybody wants to party all night long.
It's great. I love when he gets that kind of that deepness as
Yeah.
well. This is really good. There's a part in this as well where he gets super deep, and just to play a little bit more, this is the this will be the chorus too, won't it? So
Do what you wanna do. Be what you wanna be. Live how you wanna live. If you wanna be free, yeah, you're gonna be free. So say what you wanna say. Hear what you wanna hear. And live how you wanna live. If you wanna be free, yeah, you're gonna be free. I can make you stop and listen. I won't save you.
so nice.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to party all night long till
There's so much happening.
Yeah.
There's too much to dissect, but
Yeah.
we'll push forward. Yeah, I really love that last bit.
Yeah.
Just, it's all lovely, and you don't expect, I don't think, this
stop and listen. I won't save you.
No.
that listen part.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
I think it's kind of drowned in the mix as well. That,
Yeah, I mean, there's so much happening, isn't there? As we've
Yeah.
seen so far.
Yeah.
We're on 50 tracks right now, so and it's not even finished. I'll just skip to the very end. I'm not sure there's much else really new here, maybe other than the end.
Hear what you wanna hear. And live how you wanna live.
Which you've got that swelling
Yeah.
effect.
And I think Drake is cut away in this part because they already covered all the notes possible for that part.
That's very true. Yeah, yeah. And so you're referring to
Live how you wanna live.
Yeah.
which that isn't even all of them. There's the next
Yeah.
round as well.
I think CJ did really, really high notes there, like an octave from what we just heard.
Yeah, I think that is auto-tuned.
I
pitch
probably,
changing,
yeah, probably.
because that is crazy. I mean, maybe he can. I don't want to.
He can go really high because I think he did something in the Radical song.
Right,
He did something really high.
the
there
Radio
as well.
Rock.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's. By the way, we should mention that if you want to hear a lot of Drake's unreleased stuff, you can go to Patreon because Drake has a Patreon, which you can I think hear a lot of also the Mike and CJ sessions which weren't released. Yeah,
Definitely.
and I think
There's some demos, aren't they?
demos, yeah, and I think it's really cool that the community is seems really trustful with that because a lot of people have access to that, but I don't see anything on YouTube because
true.
and
Yeah.
also I want to say if stuff appears on YouTube, probably the Patreon will be closed because that's what they don't want. But
Yeah.
people seem really nice. The community seems really, really cool.
Yeah. It's only once I think I've seen it happen, and it did get taken down.
Yeah.
So that's good and respectful.
Yeah.
Then we have background number 2.
Yeah.
Bit
And
more of the
these-
same.
Let me guess, these are uhs and oohs
I think so. I think
because
you're right.
it
'cause-
seems from the waveform like that.
Yeah, very true. So let me play it.
Cool.
It's really funny because you can see there's less of CJ in these than Mike at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
But it's really CJ's part that are the really moving parts, the major to minor.
Yeah.
You can kind of really hear his voice actually there. And then we have a bit of CJ on his own.
About the way you live, but I bet you don't give a shit in people.
Cut away the shit.
Yeah, they did. And then we have a little bit before what we've just heard. So I'll play that for you.
But you only did it 'cause I told you to.
That's so nice.
Too bad, so sad. Hope I didn't make you mad.
I love, I was going to say Drake, CJ's part that, hope I didn't.
Yeah.
So I hope I didn't.
It's great.
Yeah.
And then we have a bit more of the same, but then we get to, is this the bridge part? Yes, I think it is. I'm assuming it'll be the line the birds are singing.
The birds are singing. Do what you want.
So this is what you're referring to, I think.
Yeah.
With those super high. There's a higher one too later on.
Yeah.
But let's see, is it this one?
Yeah, it's auto-tuned. I think.
Yeah. One of Mike's absolutely is too. Is it this one?
Birds are singing.
Yeah, you can just tell.
Yeah.
It is snapping, but you cannot tell in the mix at all.
No.
Birds are singing.
There's one of these that just sounds so auto-tuned. It's
Yeah.
quite funny. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah.
You can cut these out if necessary.
Birds are singing.
It's not that one either. I'll probably see it somewhere.
Okay.
And then we have the very last chorus, and I'll play you that bit too into that outro.
Do what you wanna do. Be what you wanna be.
Both Mike and CJ.
Live like you are free.
So good.
Say what you wanna say. Hear what you wanna hear. Live.
So
That's
good.
so cool.
And the very last part. Which they do, as you'll see in a bit, have a choir effect.
Yeah.
That I'm certain is MIDI.
Yeah.
And then we have the final bits of the background vocals. There are 19 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So here is the last few.
But you only did it 'cause I told you to. Bad, sad, make you mad. Birds are singing.
Love it.
It's so good. After I've gone through these, shall I just play the whole lot of backgrounds together?
Yeah. Sure.
'Cause it's just going to be lovely. Oh, they're the same, aren't they? Let me skip to the bridge part.
Don't you know the birds are singing?
That's Raspy Mike.
Oh, it really is. Which is the really raspy one? Is it this one?
Yeah.
Don't you know the birds are singing?
The soul Mike.
Yes, definitely. Then we have a little bit of Mike here too.
So say what you wanna say.
So cool.
Very rock.
Yeah.
And then we have mostly CJ at the end here.
Live.
There's
There's the high one.
High one.
Is it this? Yeah.
Yeah. It's tuned. It's tuned.
Yeah, but I'd love to know how high he got before that.
Yeah.
You know, if it was just a few tones or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
Because, I mean, it sounds squeezed, so he definitely gave it a go.
Yeah. Definitely.
But it's great fun. So I will just put together all of those background vocals that we've just heard.
Yeah.
and you can get the full effect of everything, and it is just wonderful.
Do what you wanna do. Be what you wanna be. Live how you wanna live. If you wanna be free, yeah, you're gonna be free.
And I'll just skip forward a little bit to when we have more of
Yeah.
all of them together.
But you only did it 'cause I told you to. Too bad, so sad.
Hope I didn't
Make you mad. I can't make you stop and listen. That won't save you. Everybody wants to party all night long. The birds are singing. Do what you wanna do.
And then we've heard all of those parts. I will just
Yeah.
skip forward to this sort of bridge part.
The birds are singing. Do what you wanna do. Be what you wanna be. What you wanna be. Live how you wanna live. Like you are free. If you wanna be free, yeah, you're gonna be free. So say what you wanna say. What you wanna say. Hear what you wanna hear. What you wanna hear. Live how you wanna live.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
And impactful.
Insane.
And amazing. And just the very last mms.
Yeah.
A lovely E flat chord there. Yeah, it's lovely. But I don't know. Yeah, did you catch a couple of those moments where the ends of lines were swapped with CJ and Mike?
Totally. You can hear it, like if you hear the a cappella. version.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's like it kind of doesn't make sense.
Live how you wanna live.
So it's like Mike to CJ, and then we have the very opposite of CJ to Mike.
Live how you wanna live.
I don't know why.
I don't get it. Yeah. The only logical thing, as I say, I could think of is that they wanted the impression that there's just a switch around if you're listening on
Yeah,
headphones or something.
Maybe
But you can't tell.
it can also have different reasons, but
Maybe.
yeah, we don't
But
know.
it doesn't make sense. Yeah, I'd love to know. So, yeah, out of that, you can effectively create a really lovely Drake and supported background vocal version of the song.
Yeah.
So, let me just play you a tiny bit. Like, imagine what this could have been.
I can't make you stop and listen. That won't save you. And I can't believe everybody wants to party all night long until the.
So cool.
It really is. Just hear that bit of that bridge.
The birds are singing. Do what you wanna do. What you wanna do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful. That's possibly one of my favorite background vocals in the
Yeah.
whole album.
Yeah. Crazy.
So much happening.
I think I my favorites would be "Fool the World," but these are like after that.
Yeah. Fool the World. Good shout, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. We have a couple of the sound effects,
Yeah.
which is sort of fun. Forgive the names of these. This is just literally what the session said. So these are the kind of toilet flushing sound effects that cover up the actual swears.
Yeah.
I just love the little sort of
Yeah.
it's great. And also the fact that they were clearly having fun, like we said before, because they're just laughing. It's
Yeah,
just
cool.
good. And And then we have the infamous whistle that is also reused in Fool the World.
Yeah, and also other songs of Mike, solo songs.
True. Yeah, very good point. Yeah. You have that sort of, it's like, I don't know, fairground
Yeah,
whistle. I can just kind of picture it.
yeah,
It's funny. We then have a little bit more of a sound effect that appears here too. Which is, these are birds, sorry.
yeah.
But on the shit and laugh track. Funny thing, actually, with that, on the birds Pro Tools comment, it says, so this was written by Mike clearly, because it says, Chris mentioned that you have some good bird sounds. These are just low quality from the internet.
Yeah.
So this would have been a message to Rob Jacobs, who mixed the album. I don't feel like I'll spend too much time, but you can hear a couple of sounds of birds. Just close your eyes and it sounds like you're in a tranquil outdoor space. Welcome to ASMR. There's kind of...
Yeah, I didn't do it today because I already opened my can before we started.
That's funny.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. So we do have some bird sounds. And then we get into the sort of towards the end now. We're approaching the finish line. We have some bells.
We also like approaching 100 tracks now. Almost.
Yes, we do essentially
we
get there.
Over 100.
We do get there. So we've got a few of the bell sounds towards the end. MIDI.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me a little bit of Makes Me Happy. That kind of vibe. We have some cymbal swells. And just to be honest, a normal cymbal. Not even swelled, despite the name. Then we have the violins and the, or rather the orchestration.
Yeah.
Now, again, these are the Vienna Symphonic Library, according to the credits. And something I just wanted to mention, I just totally forgot, sorry, just to backtrack here. The bells on the Pro Tools session, the comment said, similar approach to these string parts as to the ones in I Know, but certain parts should be featured more, like the violin run and the legato parts at the end.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it all kind of ties in. So, just to play what all of these sound like together.
Nice. The jellyfish ending.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it sounds great. There's so many moving parts in that.
Yeah.
Also, something that I find interesting, and maybe an unusual choice for the mixing of this, is that your low cello sounds, the kind of the bass, really, aren't they? Is panned, and they're all panned slightly to the right. Which normally, typically, you'd expect bass to sit right in the middle.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, these are slightly to the right.
Could be that it wasn't necessary to have them in the middle because you also had the bass, the actual bass being
Very
in the
true.
middle. So maybe, and I think it's playing the same. It's just the note, like it stays on
Yes.
the note, right?
Yeah.
So probably that's why. It would have been maybe too big being like in the middle.
Maybe you could have had maybe some phase issues, possibly. It's a good point. That was a very similar thing that happens in Fool the World as well, where you get the sort of cello and the K bass. But yeah, just to hear a little bit of these violas, I just think they're really lovely how they interplay. especially that little run.
Yeah, and they aren't. I think they aren't quantized.
They're not.
They're not. Yeah.
Yeah, I assume that's just maybe how it was played,
Yeah.
wasn't it, on the keyboard?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great.
I would
and then
quantize them.
just to then hear the violins. Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
So they use string sections, and then we have the male choir. So we've got a bass, we've got a tenor, we've got an alto, and we've got soprano, a female soprano actually. So I'm pretty certain that these are all MIDI sounds as well.
Yeah.
I'm certain of it, and they sound like this, which is right at the very, very end.
So
Which-
cool.
Yeah,
Really good
which
samples.
tie into the actual Mike and CJ background vocals, which I will just play you.
Mm-hmm.
It is really, really cool. And that basically brings us to the very, very end.
Yeah.
Quite a marathon of a song. There's a whole heap of things that's happening here.
Yeah.
Possibly expected because it sounds like it from the recording.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else that I feel like I need to say.
No. Like we talked a lot again in this episode. But yeah, it's a crazy big session. I'm afraid, like, for the Fool the World thing, like, I think we probably have to take a break, like, after 2 hours because like,
Yeah.
it's so, like, exhausting, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun, but also, like, yeah, it's a lot to
It is.
listen to, a lot to talk about. But this was like, I think this was like a small taste of what we will go through in the next episodes. Because I think,
definitely.
I mean, I think It's Only Time will be the one thing that will be a little faster and also end it good. But
Yes,
the other,
yeah, that's going to be a short song.
like, yeah, the other songs, we won't be fast through the stems, like that won't work. But yeah,
Yeah.
So yeah, I
mean,
think
obviously we're conscious of not taking too long, but obviously we can't really skim over everything either. Because that
Yeah, true.
wouldn't seem right either. So
True. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. I would say we will go through, play the song like we did in all the episodes. And before that, I'm gonna say goodbye and see you in the next episode. Let us know in the comments if you have any thoughts about this. If you want any answers, maybe we can answer something in the next episode. And yeah, goodbye.
absolutely. Thank you for listening and for watching. Please do subscribe and comment. Let us know how we're doing. If there's anything you want us to change, we will do our best. And we will see you in episode 4. And to play us out, I will begin introducing parts of this song bit by bit. We'll see what happens. We'll start with the vocal and probably the piano.
And people around the world, they say I'm bitter, but I could say I'm not a quitter. And you can't. And people, no, they don't apologize. That's why we have to advertise in the paper. Listen, that won't save you. I can't believe everybody wants to party all night long until the birds all singing. So do what you wanna do, be what you wanna be, live how you wanna live. If it's not the way to show you care about the way you live, but I bet you don't give up. People, you've got to give it up when credit's due, but you won't regret it, cause I told you to. Oh, too bad, so sad, I hope I didn't make you mad. I can't make you stop and listen, that won't save you. I can't believe everybody wants to party all night long until the birds are singing and the birds are singing. So do what you wanna do, oh, be what you wanna be, live how you wanna live. If you wanna be free, then you're gonna be free. So say what you wanna say and hear what you wanna hear, live how you wanna live. If you wanna be free, then you're gonna be free. I can't make you stop and listen, that won't save you. And I can't believe everybody wants to party all night long until the birds are singing. What you wanna do, oh, be what you wanna be, live how you wanna live. If you wanna be free, then you're gonna be free. So say what you wanna say, oh, hear what you wanna hear, live how you wanna live. If you wanna be free, you're gonna be free. If you want to be, got to be, have to be, let me be.
Please hold for an important message.